How's your batteries looking like?
Perfect. Okay, vision for the community.
Okay, my vision for Larkrise community, and which I hope the community will achieve, is an all-age community, little children, families and old people, which is a safe community, by which I mean that the land will be one which is safe for children particularly to roam over, so they're not confined to their garden. To this end, we want to keep cars off the land as much as possible. So we have parking at the bottom of the field, and we have very small gardens, so that we have a lot of communal land. Some of this communal land will be used for growing crops, and some for recreation.
And what sort of quality of life do you think the development will bring? What do you hope out of it for your family? Or
well, I would hope that we have a community where, when we want to be sociable, we can be sociable. When we don't want to be sociable, we can be alone. I think both aspects is very important. Too much community could be overwhelming, and I'm a private person, but I'm also a communal person, so I can choose when I want to be communal.
and what maybe is slightly different about this development to other developments you generally see? What's the key?
We keep, the difference is that we keep the cars as much as possible off the land. I think that is and as I say, the land is, there's a lot of land, communal land, so there's like living in a park in some way, and we want to do things like keep animals and grow crops, and hopefully my vision is that the landscaping in 10 years' time, the landscape will be a very attractive landscape, rich in trees and sort of secret areas, hiding place where you can have a picnic or something. That you don't have to go miles to find a nice place to have a picnic, say.
And everybody involved in this project is local to the area. You're not moving into a new area. This is something that's born out of the community that happens to be here and a need that's here for a group of people.
The founders of the community are local. I imagine that some people are attracted from a bit further afield, and the aspect of the community which I haven't mentioned, which is the half of the community.
Sorry, Chris.
We'll go cut the plane.
Right.
Do you want to change your battery, Mary? I might give you another.
I like it, so yeah.
Bit too serious.
Bit too serious.
Perfect.
Okay. Bit less serious and a bit more.
Right.
This is a project born out of the community.
Yes. There is something that needs saying. When the council estate, which is next door, was built, it could well have been built right over this field. I think it was the same field, and I think the development on this field, as per landscaping, is a natural development. I think it just sits in the landscape and will hardly be noticed by the wider community. Obviously, the people living on the present estate notice it very much, and they are a little aggrieved. But I think it's such a natural development that landscape-wise it can't be objected to.
And what was the brief that was given to the architects? What was the overriding concept to sort of work off of?
To make as little impact on the present community.
Can we start with our brief?
The brief that we gave to our architect, John Renshaw, was to be as sympathetic and as make as little impact on the present community as possible, to keep the sight lines down, and to I think he has achieved that in the way that the houses are laid out. They're not visible, they're in line, so that from the present estate you see an end-on view of these houses. So I think he's achieved that quite well.
And what was the environmental credentials that you were trying to achieve? There is sustainable design involved.
There are everybody has to build sustainably today. We have tried to do our best, and I think we shall see. If we're given the go-ahead, we are aiming for a very high standard of sustainable design.
And how excited are you in, because part of the aspect of this build is partly a self-build?
Yes, we've had to limit that aspect. Some of us would have liked to have 100% self-build. I don't think I could capable of that anymore. Not young enough. But there is an element of self-build finish, interior, exterior cladding, where we have a certain amount of freedom, and we can put a personal touch on the buildings. Okay,
can I ask you to rephrase that for a positive soundbite? When you say something like, having spent my considerable part of my life in the building trade, one of the enjoyable aspects of this is that we have a certain amount of freedom when it comes to building.
The overall design makes for a sort of unity of build, but within that we have elements of, like the external cladding, how we finish on internally, which allows us, the clients, to put our own particular slant on it. And I really like that. I like the idea that there is an overall character to the community. Both the social housing and the private housing don't differ tremendously, but we are able to, the private houses at least, are able to put a personal character to their house, to their dwellings.
Fantastic. And how important has it been that the social housing and the private housing has the same aesthetic? I mean, you want this as a community, isn't it?
Yes. It's a little bit difficult, but obviously the social housing has a much more, will be finished more similarly, and that's Herefordshire Housing's decision. We didn't want a them and us kind of aspect to the community. We want to integrate the social housing within the private housing, so there is no, so it isn't set off to one side, it's mixed in. and I think it will be very acceptable. It will be socially mixed. I don't see any problem with arising from a social mix. We aim to be an inclusive community.
Cool. What's your hope for this project?
The hope.
What's your dream? Yeah. Or what's
Get
your
it
hope?
done. Get it done. Finished. And start living. Once you, it's an end. It's a means to an end, to hopefully a life which is richer, more fulfilling, cheaper in some ways. We hope to be building to a standard where heating costs will be very low. We support. Hopefully, we create a community where we each support each other in so many aspects. Share car shares, possibly a minibus that the community can use. There's lots of things which because it's a community of choice, people will choose to join this type of community, then there will be a little bit of consensus about how we do things. And what I haven't mentioned is the community house is a fantastic asset, which is a blank canvas, really, what we do with that. I look forward to seeing what we can do. We have also got the barns, which will be developed as workspaces, and I'm interested in that as well.